Sorry, I just realized this thing, but yeah, teams are not going to be doing this so because of all this stuff that it could set their franchise back. And I mean, of course, this is the Cardinals. This is like a team that is always in the runnings and always in the mix and things like that. And it's just sort of it's not going to affect them as much as per se the Indians if they did this, because the Indians really rely on their farm system alone and really don't have any other resources. But again, what do you think about this type of thing? Do you think this was the right thing to do? Would you have done something different?
I think there should have been a fine, a big fine, if anything.
Well, there was a fine of $2 million. But,
okay, yeah. I don't know. I feel like there could be more done. I just can't get it to my mind.
Okay.
Like
This is Joe coming in. Come on in, Joe. Adjust your mic. Yeah, so we're just talking about. It's great. We're gonna get Joe's opinion on this. The Cardinals got their punishment in for doing the hacking in the Astros. I don't know if you remember. No, you're not on. Is your mic good? Before I turn you on, is your mic good? Let's make sure. All right. So, Joe. So I'm gonna read you what exactly the fines are. The punishment.
I heard it's 2 draft picks.
Yeah, it's right? 2 draft picks and $2 million.
Wow.
So, what do you think, man? Is this gonna be? Is this
well,
is
this
your
full story? I don't know the full story.
Okay, so basically what happened was that the scouting director, Chris Correa, basically hacked into the Astros database and got into player scouting reports.
The Cardinals
got into the Astros database.
Yeah, the Cardinals.
And basically they got inside information about the team's prospects.
That's so Patriots.
Now,
that's
exactly.
So
stop.
What we were talking about is baseball never really has seen an issue like this, and this sort of sets precedent. So is this sort of like, is this a good enough punishment in your eyes? Is this what they should have done?
I think it's a little harsh, 2 draft picks, but you know what? You can't have that, You can't have that.
I agree. I think
there should have been a little bit more, but again, I can't put my mind to it. I'm not a general manager.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't manage the Astros. I don't know what I would want besides what's given to me. I mean, it does seem fair on some points, but on another point, I feel like maybe a little more should have been done.
Stuff like this can't happen. So
yeah, because if this stuff happens, again.
It's going to be like the epidemic of steroids. Like, everyone's going to keep doing it. This is usually in football, like you guys mentioned. Football has a bunch of this. What's it called, like scraping numbers or something?
Getting into the enemy's radio, walkie-talkie, whatever.
Right.
This is exactly this type of stuff. So it's sort of new to baseball, which is why I found it so interesting at the time when we covered it. And I guess, 2 draft picks is pretty harsh. So they're going, and it's good for a smaller market team like the Astros because they're sort of a small market type team, whereas the Cardinals isn't really affected as much because they spend money. Obviously it's effective.
They've got depth in their farm system as it is.
Yeah, exactly.
We mentioned that. Yeah,
they always do.
It just seems like they could never get out of contention,
right?
Which is it's become a part of their DNA, and. And we got a lot of stuff today, but that was like really the big thing because it sort of sets precedent. But I got another story while we're in our general baseball section. Is what do you guys think of the, Frank Thomas? I forget what they call him, Big Hunt, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be a player with the White Sox. He's now all involved in like MLB Network and stuff like that. He does Fox Sports, I think, when he does a lot of the baseball coverage. He's a big. They got a big statue of him, and what are they calling it now? Central something Field. They renamed their stadium. Guaranteed Rate Field. They renamed it.
What, the White Sox?
Yeah, they renamed their stadium.
That's got to be like the 5th time they've changed it or something.
I don't like it.
It's a sponsorship deal, but he basically said that Bonds and Clemens should now be in because he definitely thinks that there's significant evidence that these guys have done steroids. Specifically, what is it? I keep forgetting these guys' names because one is Biggio, one is Bagwell. It's Bagwell, right?
Right.
He's basically saying, now that Bagwell's in, he mentioned Bagwell.
I think they should be in.
I mean, personally, I think that they should have their own wing because at this point, there's so many people who have done steroids.
Mm-hmm.
Is Mark McGwire in?
No, and again,
it's only a matter of time, though.
Here's Doug. Hang on. Hello, join the party. Sit down.
guys.
Sit down, man.
Oh,
we're
wow.
we're all in here. This
Today.
is this
All right,
is
the
it
gang's
today.
all here.
Yeah.
So anyway, with Bonds and stuff, and with Clemens, I mean, there's guys who have done steroids, and me and Doug talked about this last week, and Doug, just to fill you in, Big Hunt, he's with the White Sox.
Big Hurt?
Yeah, whatever he is.
Mike Thomas, of course.
big-
man.
yeah.
Prolific.
Yeah, so he was basically. Now, I think he's done steroids himself. I'm not 100% sure. But,
Totally.
he was basically saying that now Bonds and Clemens should get in to the Hall of Fame undisputedly since Bagwell is in. Because he thinks that, again, there's sufficient evidence, and the only evidence, and I think it's still valid evidence, is that Jose Canseco swears to his life that he injected steroids into his butt. So
Ivan Rodriguez, right?
into him and what's his name and Bagwell, I think they
Mm-hmm.
said that he's not even, and he says Mike Piazza. Obviously, he says Mike Piazza definitely did it. And
Oh,
let's
really?
get real.
That's surprising.
The guy looks like a meatball.
I mean, the guy-
I mean,
He looks like a nice, fine Italian meatball, right?
he literally looks like a meatball. There's no
Piazza?
Yeah, when he was in his playing days, I'm the biggest Piazza fan there is. But come on, guys, look
there's
at him.
no doubt. And
look at him.
And think about the time era he played, late '90s, early 2000s. I mean, everybody was doing juice back then.
I mean,
Everybody.
Again,
if you
bring-
weren't, you were not in on
Yeah,
the club.
yeah.
Again, bringing me back to Mark McGuire. That's when he played, and he's
Yeah.
not in.
but he's
Yeah.
not in because he's one of the big guys.
Because there's evidence. There's hard evidence.
Exactly.
There's hard evidence
Yeah.
of why he's not in. And again, I think that they should still move their own wing. And because now, I mean, let's face it, the Hall of Fame is tainted. I mean, let's get real. It is. There's players, even before Piazza, that have done steroids that we probably have no idea about.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt in my mind that Piazza is not the first one.
I bet players have done steroids since they were invented.
I mean,
Like,
I don't
let's be
know.
real.
I don't know the history of it. I don't want to claim. I mean, even back then, and you were touching on it, Doug, last week. People have done what do they call it? Greenies. I mean, what is that?
amphetamines. Amphetamines. It's
Yeah,
basically
I
what
mean-
they used back in when airplane pilots back in the 40s, World War II, just to give themselves an extra kick. It's also used in
That's
the
what they used in the '80s.
Yeah, they used that in the 80s. The 80s it was huge,
Yeah.
but it was starting to get founded actually during World War II, especially with SS troops in Nazi Germany, and that to keep them going, keep them hyped up, they wouldn't feel any bullets hitting their body. It was like, all right,
Right.
take these little green pills, and
Right.
you'll feel like the Hulk. So next thing you know, it's like since the dawn of sports, since the Olympic times, everyone's been trying to look for an advantage, no matter what.
Yeah, no matter
that is
what.
undisputed. So since the
Exactly.
beginning, everyone's been trying to find different ways. But I think it's more of a way that it's like you can make the ball go further with home runs. I mean, I just watched a Jim Thome home run that went 512 freaking
Yeah,
feet
yeah.
at a Progressive Field.
Ridiculous.
And, like, you won't see anything like that these days.
No.
But I think that's the difference because greenies is more about the concentration and getting that. Steroids won't deny a player of his batting average. It won't make him increase his batting average. It won't increase his skills of working within the box. That's what separates, I think, the steroid era from the previous eras, is that the steroid era will be like Barry Bonds was a prolific, probably going to be a Hall of Fame player regardless of the steroids. But then once the steroids come in, you start seeing those balls going a little bit farther. You see his balls start shrinking up, and you start seeing the head
You
exploding
also see his
beyond 8
neck
different.
shrink. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's interesting in that regard. But my biggest claim and my biggest thing about this whole entire steroids Hall of Fame debate is that since we don't have a clear-cut definition or rules of engagement for how we should be signing these players in or bringing them in by the Baseball Writers Association, is that we're starting to see this logjam of players that are not being voted in that should be getting voted in. It's taking away votes from players like a Vlad Guerrero, where it's going towards people where it's like, all right, let's go towards Roger Clemens or Barry Bonds.
I'm
we
so,
start
I'm
missing
so
this.
mad about the Vlad Guerrero
Well,
thing.
Yeah,
I
that was
mentioned
ridiculous.
I mentioned that last week on the show.
I mean, he didn't
Is-
even. What,
well, here's
what
the thing,
percent did he
because
get?
He got
This is it.
73%. He was 15
Well,
votes
listen.
away.
Yeah,
There's
that's it.
this-
15 votes.
There's a tradition in the Hall of Fame writers thing that they never, no matter how good you were, unless you were exceptional, that they don't let you in on the first ballot. That's their thing. I think it's
Yeah,
stupid.
you're talking about Joe DiMaggio didn't get in on the first ballot.
Yeah, I mean,
Whitey Ford didn't get in on the first ballot.
legendary
Oh, really? I
players
didn't
I'll
don't
tell you
get
something.
in.
I think this voting. I think the voting might change a little bit because I think next year the writers need to answer. I think
Yeah,
they're
it's
gonna
transparent.
they're gonna know who they voted for and who they didn't vote for. So they're gonna have to answer people next year. I think the voting might be a little bit more lenient, a little different next year.
Well, they also got rid of a lot of the older writers, too. So
Yeah.
these younger writers, I think, are willing to give them a part, and especially since they saw how the sport itself was transformed. And what we were talking about last time was, do we give it based upon a generational difference, where we look at a body of work amongst everyone from that steroid era of the late 80s, early 90s to 2003, and then we acknowledge that those players were great on their own basis, but everyone was dealing with the same problem because the drug use was so rampant throughout the whole entire industry at that time.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see what will happen, especially next year, to see I guarantee we'll see that it's been going this way, that the
It's
older
been going
writers
this way. Yeah, and
will vote in the older players, and they'll hold tight that they do not want these steroid users, and that the younger writers are still going to be okay with it, because that's why we saw the percentages rise this year between Bonds and Clemens, respectively like 9%, I believe, each, actually.
Here's two questions I got, and one is, well, number one, how much do you think steroids actually commits to baseball? And basically saying, as you said, it doesn't improve your average, but I definitely think it makes the balls fly further.
Oh,
yeah.
definitely.
And I think, and again, and that point I want to bring up with that is that
And you're more durable. It avoids injury.
exactly, and of course, but maybe David Wright needs some steroids. But anyway, listen.
Steroids in his back.
But
I don't think
listen,
there's anything you can do to help that guy right now.
Yeah, right now we just
But
need to get him a walker and
in
say,
the
Yeah.
Olympics, when you're caught with steroids, I mean, you're stripped with your medals, you're
Yeah.
endorsed. I mean, it's
The whole
over.
the whole nation
it
of
wasn't-
Russia was like taken out of the Olympics because of their doping.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean, he wasn't an I don't think he was an Olympic. Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, Lance Armstrong, yeah.
people
I
would
mean,
say, and I mentioned him last
he was
week.
stripped of everything. This guy.
Yeah, this guy's and with baseball, and the argument against people having people with PEDs in the Hall of Fame is with baseball, it's almost glorifying it. While in the Olympics and other professional sporting events, if you're caught with steroids, it's over.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm more with that stance, but I understand again. I mean, when you think about it, steroids are a part of baseball, whether you like it or not. I mean, it's not that they're being used as much as they were. I'm sure they're being used today, but not as much as they were before, and it's not as rampant and as widespread. But I mean, again, it's an era. The steroid era, like we mentioned, it's an era. It's going to be a part of the game forever. So that's why I think if you're going to let these guys in the Hall of Fame, just make a steroid era wing and put them in their own wing, and then that could be interpreted however you want.
But then the wing is difficult, because then it's like, is it the people who we speculate that we didn't actually have suspensions? That's what. Remember when we talked last week about Manny Ramirez and A-Rod? They were actually like suspended underneath the PEDs use substance abuse policy. So would they go into a separate wing, which I agree with? In that case, if you're saying put them in a separate wing, but then we have other players where it's not too sure, like Roger Clemens, like. Does he go in there? I mean, if he was using steroids and it was supposed to make him more of a power pitcher, then why wasn't he the first guy throwing 104 miles per hour? Even though he's throwing 100. I mean, so that's where it creates a cloudy gray area.
And you're right, and those concerns are really, really valid. And again, it's a big mess. The Hall of Fame's a mess.
Agreed.
It's a mess. It really is. And of course, you're seeing big players of the game voice their opinions. You got whatever his name is. I thought it was Big Hunt, but it's Big Hurt.
Big Hurt.
I don't know.
Big
I know
Hurt.
he does Fox Sports. He's like, I've seen him there. They got a big statue of him in whatever guaranteed rate field. So he's like a legendary White Sox player, and he did steroids. I'm pretty 100%.
No, he said that. That's his one claim. That's why he's upset. Because he's like, if anyone said that they didn't do steroids, no matter what, when they're interviewed or asked any questions, they would be adamant about it, stamping their feet on the ground like a child, saying like, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So for him, it's kind of like, I mean, he was on the cusp, I think, of the steroid era. So seeing someone who was like that big and had that much power, and then people can associate his name and taint his legacy with those steroids, it's got to hurt a little bit.
Yeah. No, I see where he's coming from, and
Oh yeah, that's gotta sting.
it's a
No one wants to
debated
be known
issue.
as a
The
cheater, or
steroids.
like anyone just barking at you about
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Especially if he didn't really cheat.
Yeah, and if he didn't, that's where it's just
Especially
like,
if you didn't really cheat and people are saying like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you did this, you did that." It's like,
Yeah, he
no.
kind of played in an awkward time. Like when did he? I mean, what?
I don't
Like
know.
late
I don't
'90s
know.
is like was
Yeah,
like
late
at the end
90s,
of his
yeah.
career.
So he played during kind of like the beginning of the
He
doping
played like
era.
half in it and half.
Yeah, he was
out
out
of
of
it.
it.
But if he didn't do it, but
Yeah.
I could see why they would claim, or well, not claim, but like say that he did steroids because everyone else was.
All right, guys. Well, I'm just warning you. We have 15 seconds till break, and I just want to preview what we're going to talk about. Ahmed Rosario has been getting national attention, and I've got some notes prepared. We're going to talk about some of the Mets prospects, and also stay tuned. And stay tuned. And thanks to our guests for being here as always.
Why don't they play board games in the jungle?
Too many cheetahs.
Thankfully, there are no cheetahs each Monday at noon in the Syosset Public Library. Bring your own cards or games and have some good, honest fun with other gamesters. For more info, call 516-921-7161 or visit syossetlibrary.org. The Community Calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
Your
Why
top
don't they
40
play board games in the jungle?
Too many cheetahs.
Thankfully, there are no cheetahs each Monday at noon in the Syosset Public Library. Bring your own cards or games and have some good, honest fun with other gamesters. For more info, call 516-921-7161 or visit syossetlibrary.org. The Community Calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
Your top 40 favorites and the latest hits before you can hear them anywhere else. Total Access, weekdays at 4.
Are you over 50 years of age and a longtime native of dollars taxes? Take advantage of the AARP Free Tax Assistance Program every Wednesday morning at 9:30 through April 12th in the Westbury Memorial Public Library. Collect all your tax documents and call 516-333-0176 for an appointment. The Community Calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
You're listening to Ace at the Plate.
All right, Ahmed Rosario and me and Joe. I met with him after class today. We were really talking. I don't know, Doug, if you've been noticing, Ahmed Rosario's been all over the place lately. This week it's been a big week for him.
They're talking him up to be the
They're
next
talking him huge. Now listen, I got the
Bryce.
story. Mets shortstop prospect Ahmed Rosario was named the 5th best prospect in baseball by MLB Network Saturday on its top 100 prospect show. Rosario was 79th on the last list.
Number 3.
And number 3 was on a different list. I can't remember
Keith
the name.
Law, I think
Keith Law's list. Now these, whatever, 5-3. I mean, this is huge for the Mets organization.
Who's
because
number 1?
no idea. I didn't look.
No, no.
You see,
That's
he's
a
not a
really
Met.
good point.
He's not a
I would
Met.
really
I don't
like to
care. He's not a Met.
curious.
But I'll tell you this.
I
not a
guarantee
Met.
it's a prospect that the White Sox got.
Yeah, right.
No, the Yankee. No, well, but let me tell you this. Let me tell you this real quick. Is that, I mean, look at all the pitchers we have. None of these guys were number 3 on Keith Law's list. I mean, I think Harvey was number 5 on one of the lists a while ago. But this is the highest the Mets have had in a while. Now, obviously, prospects are not a slam dunk. I mean, there's a list. There's
Millage.
list. Laston Millage. Some
Cough,
other
cough.
dude. I mean, but seriously, this guy is looking like to be a really good shortstop. And if you read it, the scouting reports, they're talking like, you know, They first of all, they're talking power. They're talking good, good contact. He's a little lean though, but
He doesn't really look like a power hitter.
No,
but
not at all.
Yeah.
Not at
But go ahead. What do you guys? I mean, this is now we're creating a big stir. Could we see him in 2017? Doug, Doug, Joe, Julie, what do you think? What do you guys know about him? So we'll start with.
Penalty. What do you
I
guys
really
think?
don't know anything about him.
Same.
I know he's really highly touted, but I don't think that means anything until they actually get called up and produce.
Well, here's my thing. Why this is such a big deal? Because we all know that we all know that Ray Ramirez runs the Mets injury staff.
What was the Rays system? You had the abbreviation.
No, wait a minute.
Hilarious.
We all know he runs the Mets medical staff, and we all know that the Mets are the Mets, and we all know that Asdrubal Cabrera has a problem in his knee. God forbid something happens, it tweaks up. Maybe he has to be on the DL for the 2 weeks. Do you give Rosario a call? Do you go to somebody else? Do you put Reyes in there?
But then what happens when Cabrera comes back?
Well, here's the thing.
I would put
Well,
like
here's the thing.
Cecchini in there or something.
Yeah, actually, as a stopgap, I'd like that a lot more.
Or maybe
Just
even
seasoning for Rosario.
everybody forgets about Wilmer Flores. I mean, even Wilmer Flores, you could put him in there.
Well, I mean, there's just
When everyone talks about the bench, everyone forgets Wilmer Flores, and it's like, oh yeah, we got Jose.
Seriously, they have a lot of depth.
We were talking about that last week. It's amazing actually how they can have someone slot into each position, no matter where it is around the diamond. Like everyone's just like fluid.
Don't forget about TJ Rivera.
And TJ Rivera. I mean, if we had Joe Madden, this team would be flawless. Like
Yeah.
every single day, he would be waking up with a smile, knowing how to put this.
Yeah.
Can I just
TJ,
say-
you're going to play left field.
Yeah, right.
Wilmer, you're going to go to right.
Let me just say though that this
It's like,
is a stark.
You're pitching.
This is a stark contrast from last year, where the Mets didn't really have a lot of depth, and it bit them in the butt. I mean, but obviously that was pitching. That's really, really, really difficult to have good depth for. But I'm talking about, again, David Wright. I mean, at the beginning when you say, "Oh, Jose Reyes is going to play third base," you're like, "What?" You guys never played third base really that much. I think
He handled it very well last
and he
year.
did it really well. And now he's like one of the guys where it's like, oh, if David Wright goes out, I want Jose Reyes at third base. Where before it sounded like a really radical idea.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is the Mets have got depth. I mean, there's not enough room for all these guys. I mean, there's not enough room for TJ Rivera, especially with them keeping Bruce on, which we're going to talk about also. But yeah, I just want to mention that again. Ahmed Rosario is receiving a bunch of hype. and hopefully it's not Last Milledge hype. Hopefully it's not the other mistakes hype. Because the Mets don't have good luck with. I mean, they do.
No,
but
we get them like Scott Kazmir, and then they go away.
So,
like Jeff Kent goes away.
and again, speaking with this situation, moving on to the other news since we got into it was Jay Bruce with the bench situation. Now what's going to happen with Conforto? I mean, is his development going to be hindered with Bruce here? Is the bullpen going to be well off? Are the Mets going to re-sign Jerry Blevins on that 2-year deal they're talking about? I mean, I don't know if you heard about that, but again, there's a bunch of question marks. But the good news is there's a lot of depth, and I mean, Joe was talking to me about what's your starting outfield on opening day earlier when we were talking, and that's a good question. I mean, seriously, you have Conforto, Granderson, Cespedes, Bruce, Lagares. I mean, if I'm forgetting anyone, I might be, but it's like, holy crap, and they were saying Reyes is going to take some reps in center field. So, what exactly is going to happen? How are you going to get Reyes in that lineup every day, considering, or at least most days, because considering he was he was a great leadoff, and he basically sparked the offense. I mean, he really does good, and the Mets lack speed, and he's the only player that really has speed, and it's diminished. So, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, I know I threw a lot at you, but what do you guys think about? We'll start out with Jay Bruce. What do you think about the Mets telling Jay Bruce he's the everyday right fielder? What do you think, Doug?
Jay Bruce as the everyday right fielder? I don't mind it. I mean, because if he has a more protected lineup around him, he doesn't have to feel the stress or the pressure upon himself to make himself known. And especially coming over from a smaller market of Cincinnati, where he could be relatively unknown on a team that was, let's put it in lightly, dog crap. Then after that, I mean, coming here, and then you have Yoenis Cespedes, which every single team could see him limping out to left field, knowing that guy can't run, that guy can't hit. So, why don't we just, feast on Jay Bruce? And this year, the difference is that we have a healthier lineup and it's stacked from top to bottom, except for maybe like the 8th hole with the catcher. But besides that, when you have protection, and you've got these people in front where it's Jose, they've got Drupal, and then you'll have Neil Walker, and then you'll have Yoenis, and then Bruce, and then beyond that, you can have like David Wright. I don't know who will be after that. And then you have Curtis Granderson even maybe in the 7th hole. Like, I mean, this combination here will allow him to be protected, and he can get the pitches that he wants. Yeah. And so, even though he's a feast and famine type of hitter, I forgot Lucas Duda in that whole entire thing. I mean, he's better than Duda in that sense. But I think starting every day right field, you have to give him that chance first, because he's one of those guys that needs to play regularly. And if he's like on the bench or sporadic, we'll have what happened last year, where the guy just dies like that, like our host over here. But beyond that, I think I agree with it. The only question mark that remains is then what happens to Conforto. And Conforto, I would love to see him try, if he can, try to master first base. I would like to see Jay Bruce also practice first base during spring training so we can have options. That's what this team needs is options instead of having one player that's stuck in one spot. And I think that's what Sandy is trying to build up this team to be now so that it can go long and deep into the World Series.
I agree with that. If they don't rotate, I feel like they're not going to get anywhere. But if they do rotate, I feel like we can.
Yeah, look at the Cubs.
I mean,
yeah, that's exactly it.
I don't want to say too much or like jinx anything, but maybe like a World Series again possibility if they keep rotating, not just the permanent status.
Look at Ben Zobrist specifically. That guy, every time I turned on a Cubs game in the playoffs, the guy was either at second and left. He's versatile, and that's what Terry Collins is trying to do.
They need versatile players.
With Reyes and Flores. He's trying to
make that super
smart.
utility that no matter what, you have someone behind them that
and
can
that's smart. However, and that's smart. And by the way, two things. One, the irony is that I really was betting remember I was saying last year during the winter meetings that Ben Zobrist was going to hit 220. I was wrong.
You thought he was going to be trash.
I was wrong. However,
I don't
was
know.
He the World Series MVP?
I mean, he's in a 4-year deal.
However,
I don't know how the third year's going to be.
That's very
however,
true.
exactly, how is he going to be during that 3rd year? And who knows? It might not even be the same during the 2nd year. But anyway, that's not what I'm trying to say.
You know what? They won the World Series.
Yeah,
they won the World Series. But I'll tell you this.
If we won it, I could say
I wouldn't even care what happened next year.
But here's the thing, and I agree that Bruce, I get it. The bullpen's going to be a little weak. I mean, it looks like they want to get Jerry Blevins, but that's fine. If they don't, I mean, they're just going to roll with the guys, with the crew, without Familia for however days.
I mentioned I think they should go after Sergio Romo. I think you could get him at a decent price.
Sergio Romo definitely could be a good price. He's interesting.
That could be a good idea.
His under-the-hood numbers, I mean, he pitched to a 2.69 ERA, I think, which is one of his best ERAs he's ever had.
The guy can pitch in the playoffs.
He can.
We also have less than 20 days till pitchers and catchers report.
15 to be exact.
But let me finish my point.
Seriously.
Well, last I checked, it was 19, but whatever.
I was like, damn.
It's soon.
Yeah,
it's very, very soon.
It's like
you
within
could
3
be right,
weeks.
15.
So
let me finish my point, though, is that, no problem. But, it's the fact that I agree. Give Jay Bruce the first shot, the first go-around. He has a bad month or two, and that's when I really hope Terry doesn't start playing favorites. Because, like I mentioned with Joe earlier, is that, the problem with Terry Collins, and you've seen it last year, you've seen it the year before, is that if you're not his guy, he's not going to play you that much. And no matter who you are, because Conforto is not one of his guys. I mean, I don't know what it is. Tejada was one of his guys. I mean,
for whatever reason.
Yeah, that's actually very strange, because then it's just not the veteran presence alone. It's something else.
Notice he has a group. And if you're in the group, if you're cool, you get in the in crowd,
if you're in the
he'll
Collins
play
Club.
you. Now,
here's the Collins Club. What is this, LeBron now? It's if you're cool, you get in the photos, guys.
I want Jay Bruce to do well. I mean, there's no secret. I mean, I ripped on him. And he's got a really good chance of doing well with this lineup. But there is a chance. There's always a chance that he is a really big flop.
I really,
there's
honestly,
a chance.
The biggest thing I really want to see Conforto develop.
Now, here's the thing.
I really think he can be something.
I think that Conforto could be something.
He'd be like 290, 280 hitter with 20 home runs per year.
He's got that potential.
I'm telling you that if Jay Bruce or Lucas Duda, one of the two, let's say Lucas Duda is underperforming, then you move Jay Bruce or Conforto to first.
Yeah.
Conforto's got to get some playing time.
He has.
The guy is going to be. The guy's our best hitter in the organization, homegrown. I mean, he's a homegrown hitter from this organization.
Power hitter.
And he had a great swing in the beginning, 2016 and 2015. But boy, and like I said, Madison Bumgarner literally ripped Michael Conforto 2016.
Yeah, he killed him. And Wilmer Flores, too. He killed Wilmer Flores.
Never the same. Never the same after that game. I love it because Terry was like, yeah, we're going to put him in against the lefty, just like you've been saying. He didn't say that.
Like one of the best lefties.
And
ever since then, he just went downhill.
Then you put him in against Madison Bumgarner, and he just looked lost at the plate. And then you demote him. And then he comes back, and Terry doesn't play him. Terry doesn't play him at all.
Even though he's batting well, and at AAA, his numbers were astounding.
Terry didn't even give him I swear, dude, I want to know how many play appearances he got. After it was not a lot. So again, I hope if Jay Bruce is doing well and Lucas Duda is doing well, then there's no need for Conforto. If one of them is slacking, I really hope that Terry's prepared to shift Duda out of his little circle and shift either Bruce or Conforto to first, because these guys are important and. Conforto's probably going to play a lot of out of position, meaning center field. I mean, he wasn't particularly bad in center field. It's out of position for him. He's not a center fielder. So I don't know. You have Juan Lagares who's going to play against lefties. He has amazing numbers against lefties. He shouldn't see a righty. But
what do you think about Curtis? You think Curtis Granderson could get traded before spring training, or you think he's safe?
It's going to be an Ike Davis type thing. It's going to happen
like in May or April.
It's going to
I have
happen
a feeling he's going to be safe.
Yeah,
something in my heart tells me that.
Because he can play in New York.
He can play in New York, and also the clubhouse presence, the intangibles.
He's one of the guys. He's one of the guys that shapes the clubhouse right now and defines this team.
He's a phenomenal human being.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah,
I'll give him that much.
Yeah,
he does a lot.
He's like the
and
nicest guy.
And he tweeted you at the show.
He did.
He participated. Curtis, and I know you don't know this, Julie, but Curtis Granderson actually was on Ace at the Plate in Twitter.
Oh my God!
So shout out to our boy Curtis.
Do you remember what it was?
I asked him. It was a Mets Q&A. So you just tweet. You tweet a question. And I don't think he was typing out the answers, but he was definitely answering them himself. He probably had someone typing it for him. But I asked what his walk-up song was going to be.
And he tweeted back, and we were live. We were live, and it was cool.
What was his walk-up song?
It was...
it was like Run DMC, right?
Yeah, I think it was.
That's what his new one's going to be.
That's what his new one's going to be?
King of Rock.
Sweet, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, Curtis, when we saw him get moved down the lineup, One, he's a
That's
phenomenal
awesome.
human being. He
Well,
does
he's a
so much
great
for the
guy.
community.
He's such a great guy.
And second, the guy, when he was moved down the lineup, you saw the power resurge that he used to have when he was classic Yankees. And that the guy could
Which
actually
is the
mash
guy
home
that
runs
the
and move
Mets
guys up.
originally signed. You know, they signed this guy 4 years, $60 million, and they're like, yeah, he's going to be a cleanup hitter. Or
Yeah, but
whatever.
then somehow they move him up to
Somehow.
the first hole. Like, I mean, I don't get it.
Well,
Leadoff?
first of all,
Why are we there?
2014 happened. Okay, 2014 happened. You
Where
didn't
there's
have a
no
good-
one else. I mean,
you didn't
I
have a
think
good
that's what it was.
2014, and no one did.
Well, and then 2015, they said, "Look, we need a leadoff hitter, so we kind of need you to change your approach
Yeah,
a little
right?
bit. We need you." Well, he was a great leadoff.
Yeah,
hitter
he
for them
was. And then in
2015.
2016, he sort of stunk.
Well, because he had that on-base percentage, but then he started getting a little bit more aggressive, and he wanted to pull those balls and wanted to get more home runs hit.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. I mean, he was caught between his time when he was with like the Tigers beforehand, where he was that speedy, 2020 perennial guy, maybe even 30-30. Now he's finally getting himself adjusted.
2015 though, he was their
Oh my
MVP.
gosh! Can I just
Yeah.
say
Their whole
to
season
you know what's
MVP.
funny? Literally, this guy only does well when Kevin Long's his hitting coach. Because
right.
when
Ah,
Kevin,
that's true,
when Kevin
actually.
Long, when they brought in Kevin Long, in 2014, they had whoever his name is, Dave Hodgins or whatever. He sucked. Then he had this guy. What is his name? Something.
I think the hitting coach is the most overrated
Yeah, that's-
thing ever.
Listen,
You know?
Everyone has
listen.
developed their own style
These
since the
guys,
beginning of
these
time.
guys are freaking big leaguers, man. They know how to hit.
I'm just
yeah,
saying.
you have to know how to
I
hit to
don't
go
know.
through the
Yeah.
system.
I'm
get
just
out
saying
there.
that for some reason I really think that it's a mental thing. Like I just think him and Kevin Long are friends, and it's no coincidence that Granderson had 3 years in 2015 with the Mets, and then they signed Kevin Long for 3 years because they just wanted them to be together in forever in heaven, forever in this holy matrimony. So but listen, Granderson. He had an alright 2016. He definitely picked it up toward the end. And again, that catch in the wild card game
That was sick.
just- I mean, come on, dude. That's actually going to be one of the most memorable catches I think I've ever seen. It
Well,
was,
Andy Chavez.
well, besides, I mean, yeah, I said one of. I didn't say the. But that was absolutely insane. When I saw that catch, did you see it, Jolie? Did you watch the game live? It was absolutely insane. I didn't think he had it.
Granderson made yeah, that was awesome.
But
Just
too bad
end up
it didn't work out.
like the Chavez catch.
and
Yep.
and
Didn't lead to anything.
literally,
The Mets we can't have them make any good catches next year in the
Nope.
postseason. Otherwise,
I'll be mad if they
seriously. Yeah. You know what's happening here?
You know what else though is that like with the catches and stuff and everything. I mean, like me and Joe were talking about this with the. How many games did you go last year to Citi Field?
I went to a lot.
Joe went to a lot of games. How many games do you think Joe went to?
Oh man, what do you think? Like 15, 20?
I don't know exactly, but I'd say I went to 18 games.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same
Nice.
range actually.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
Where do you
how
guys
many
like to? Where do you guys get your seats?
I go to the obscure games that you're talking about,
Yeah.
like Milwaukee Brewers or Braves in
The
May.
Reds, you
I
know,
get
it's like-
$8 tickets up in the upper deck.
It's not like
Why
it's
wouldn't
Yankees,
you?
Padres,
right?
yeah, it's
I
great.
mean,
You get
yeah.
$8 up there. You go to a game.
Nobody
you get to
sits in the
enjoy-
front row sometimes,
Exactly,
so you just
and
move
you
up.
can wander around. And sometimes, like, there's those games where it's a blowout or something like that, where
They
you
let
get
you
to
move
enjoy.
up.
You can
Isn't it
move
sort
up,
of
and you
messed
can
up?
enjoy the whole entire atmosphere of
Yeah.
the stadium. Just wander around.
Isn't it sort of messed up that even when the Yankees were having terrible years or terrible stretches, dude, even their obscure games, their prices are insane. The only reason I don't look
Oh,
at the
don't get me
prices.
started on
I'm just
that.
saying that I hear that Yankee fans. I know you like the Yankees. You follow them a bit more.
Yeah.
The tickets are pretty insane. Is it just because it's the Yankee brand? Is that sort of
I
thing?
think so.
I think it's just like
I
you're
think it's
paying
because,
for
like,
the
you know,
Yankee
all
brand.
the legacy, the history,
Some
and
BS,
the new
but-
stadium and everything. I don't know if they're still paying off the new stadium, or I don't know.
Oh,
Well, it's
I
the
mean-
classiness of the joint too. I mean, like, I don't know. I went there and I see people eating like 5-star steak dinners like through a window, like while the game's on in session. I'm like, okay, so you spent like probably like a couple $100 just to get into the stadium to have a
They're
steak
at-
dinner. Like,
they're
It's gonna
at
cost you
Yankee
another
Like, yeah.
$100.
Surprisingly,
They're
I
adding-
haven't been there yet.
You haven't been
There-
there.
I haven't been to the
there
new one
twice.
yet.
I've been on it on a tour for a school field trip.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really? Wait, what's
The
what?
new
At
Yankee
least you were
Stadium?
there,
Yeah, the new one.
A field trip? That's amazing.
it was
right?
crazy.
Yeah, that's sick.
It was crazy. It was middle school, but I think it was middle school, bro. It might have been the old Yankee Stadium. I can't remember, dude. But
Old
Now,
Yankee-
this one you would recognize, the opulence of it all. I mean, it seems like it's kind of a mall with a baseball park conveniently placed inside of it.
the
Yeah,
old,
they're
the old
adding
Yankee
even more
Stadium, I know
amenities
like
there.
the back of my hand.
Just to
Everywhere.
distract people.
Exactly, dude. When I'm walking around and I want to get a drink or something like that or some food, like I'm like, oh wait, let's look over here, let's go over here, and then they have like farm fresh stands with fruits and stuff
I
like
hate
that. I'm like,
it. I hate it.
when I see that, I'm like, what the heck? Like, the
Call me
appeal is-
an old man, but like just watch the game. Like
for
That's
me,
exactly
No,
it.
for me,
I
if I
agree.
go to a
Just
game.
get like your hot dog or something. Watch
Yeah.
the game.
People
Watch
are
the
like
game.
drinking at like bars there. It's like, why aren't you in your seats actually appreciating
never
the game?
gonna
I went to
forget.
like 6
I
games
hate-
there last
Never
I
year.
hate
gonna,
those
never
people
gonna
so much.
forget.
It's just like, what are you doing here?
I
It's
understand.
like, shit.
I understand if you want to go in the club if it's freaking 25
of all-
degrees out.
Yeah, that's very true.
But-
First of all,
Come on, man.
It's gonna cost you. First of all, I'm
sorry,
never gonna
I'm getting
forget
heated
my
here.
great memory of Shea. The last time I went to Shea Stadium,
Seeing the
it was
Reds.
2008. It was literally the last. It was like their last game. I believe they lost, if I remember correctly. They didn't go anywhere, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember, dude, first of all, the prices are just so ridiculous for the frickin' food. It's like, what is it?
Oh, yeah.
Frickin' like $10 for a hot dog.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I
this
was
little
just gonna
hot
say
dog
that.
is $10. Me and my dad, we went with these, and we're Jewish, and we went with these like real Orthodox Jews, and we smuggled in salami and pastrami.
Wait,
and we
really?
made our own sandwiches. It was one of the greatest times. And by the way, I'm never going to forget. I think this was when I realized that Mets fans are sort of crazy. These guys they literally like painted each other orange and went in orange tuxedos to like the last game at Shea Stadium.
That's
Wait,
dedication.
these are Orthodox?
No, not
Oh,
the friends
I
I
thought-
went
no,
with.
these- these
No,
are-
just
these are
two
different
strangers.
fans.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
then you know what they screamed? That I'm never going to forget it. Fire Willie! That's what they screamed. And that happened. So,
Yeah, well.
yeah, but
Listen to always.
ballpark memories, right?
Always
You know?
listen to men in orange tuxedos.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were screaming. They must have been drunk out there.
Harry Dunn and Lloyd
Yeah,
Christmas.
that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, damn, the orange and blue tuxedos. Now you got my inspiration for like what I'm going to
Dumb
be
and
wearing to
Dumber.
my next Mets game, you know? Oh,
Really?
yeah, you got to go Dumb and Dumber, baby.
Dude, I don't even know. Like, where do you even get an orange? What do you walk in a men's
I got
warehouse?
sources.
Hey, you
I
got
got
an orange
sources, man.
tuxedo?
I don't even
Maybe it
know.
wasn't an orange tuxedo. Maybe it was a suit. I don't know what it was, but it was orange.
Kind
It was ugly.
of same difference. I don't know.
You know, it's like it was just sort of. It was
Where
sort
there's
of
a will,
memorable.
there's a way.
You got
Trust
any?
me.
Exactly.
You know, Joe's dad was on TV.
Oh,
Really?
yeah. that
Oh
was-
my gosh,
No,
dude!
Are you
Tell
talking about the home run
story.
derby?
Wait. We got to go into this after the break, though. We got to go into this after the break.
like 4 years
Joe's dad is a legend.
I am
all right?
too. I was
He's a
standing right
legend.
next to the guy.
I know,
What
but
about
he
me?
made the
What's up,
catch.
Libby?
Anyway, the phone's going off. We'll see you after the break.
The leaves are brown, and the sky is a hazy shade of winter. So why not bring the kids or grandkids to Circle Time, songs and stories for children 6 months to 4 years old, on Fridays at 10:30 in the Westbury Memorial Public Library. For more info, call 516-333-0176 or visit westburylibrary.org. The community calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
You can promote your club or event on air. Email us at info@wcwp.org.
Healthcare is a right, not a privilege. See if you qualify for family low-cost health insurance, Child Health Plus, or Medicaid managed care. Just go to the Westbury Memorial Public Library on any Tuesday at 2 p.m. For more info, call 516-644-9031 or visit westburylibrary.org. The Community Calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
You're listening to Ace at the Plate on WCWPSports.org.
Hockey. a lot.
So, you know, listen, enough with the hockey. No, I'm kidding.
I
No,
know.
I'm just kidding.
It's just
Well, I mean, the
depends.
All-Star game was last night.
But
I mean,
listen,
it gives you inspiration to figure
but
out what
I love
you do.
hockey.
But listen,
you
Joe,
don't like any sport. other than baseball.
I play a lot of video games, so if
You play
but
Doom?
I play a lot of video games, but I just want to stay on top.
Esports
Joe,
last
Joe,
night,
you
they
gotta,
made millions.
Joe, you gotta tell the audience about your dad. He's legendary. I hope he's listening. He's
Yeah, so
legendary.
at the 2013 All-Star Game, I was just
There's a
telling
video.
Doug.
You gotta find it.
Yeah, you go on YouTube, you type in 2013 Home Run Derby, but
Type in like 2013 Crazy Man.
yeah, that's my dad. So, no, it's Cespedes.
I
When
just thought it was funny.
when he hit that game-tying thing, my dad almost caught it, so it was
Oh,
funny.
that's nice.
Yeah,
he,
but
he
you could
almost
see
did.
him.
He didn't
you could
catch
see
it.
him on
but-
the
Did you get
air,
like,
like
did you
really
get like elbowed in the
struggling.
face or something?
No, it was just because we were on we had the aisle seat, so and the ball was hit like right to the right, and like I was telling Doug that big glass club,
Yeah,
it, like
I'm pretty
hit
sure
off
it's a solid,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it hit off that, and he like reached for it. I had to like grab him, make sure he didn't freaking fall over the ledge. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
it was
that was
crazy.
my dad and I's last game.
Yeah,
You got
never
any?
saw us again.
You guys got any memories at the ballpark like I
Oh,
shared?
I've got a million.
You got any good ones?
I got memories of Yankee Stadium. So
I mean,
many.
go ahead if you have one to share.
I've been kicked out
Um,
twice, I think.
Yeah,
Have you
been
really?
kicked out?
At
I-
Shea Stadium, yes.
All right, we
remember-
gotta
I do have a YouTube video online,
Oh
but
my
I will
God.
not tell you right
God.
now.
I need to see that.
Not on air,
I
but
need to-
yes, I have been kicked
Can you
out.
tell us the story of why you got kicked out?
Yeah,
Did you
why-
run on the
Yeah.
field?
I was close.
Well, how old were you when Shea Stadium was open?
Shea Stadium, well, back when I was a young fetus and Shea Stadium opened up. It was, let's see, it was Yohan Santana, second to last game of the season, I think, in 2008.
Against the Marlins.
Against the Marlins. And let's just say it was a day game, 2008. I got a little rowdy.
What a terrible freaking year. Again.
A little rowdy I got, let's just say. I think I drank probably like 6 beers.
How old were you?
Half a liter of vodka, 2 bottles of champagne.
Sounds lit.
my God.
Sign me up.
Yeah, right?
I might have been like
Sign me
16 or
up.
17 at the time.
Jesus.
I was
And
a
your
little
body
bit
could handle it. Your young body could handle it.
Oh yeah, no, that was just easy. That was spring training for me back then. But for now, like it just happened that I went with my friends. And it was supposed to be like, I don't know, it was like homecoming that night or something like that. And I was like, forget the parade because I'd always been so involved with it in student government that I was like, this is the Mets. This is us going to playoffs. I need to do this. So I ended up getting so drunk that like I keep seeing Yohan and like every time someone was like cheer, like I was slumped over in the bleachers and it was Gary, Keith, and Rondé, one of the most prolific DJs to go to, Shea
I can
Stadium.
imagine you so smashed.
And I was just like, yeah! And, like, I'd go down and pass out. And then, like, whenever Yohan would go up, actually, for some reason, I would come alive and be like, let's do this! And then go up. Next thing I
Just out of
know,
your
like,
mind.
I hear, like, Scotty be like, look for the kid in the different colored shoes. Because I wore, like, one orange shoe, one blue shoe that, like, for some reason I bought in those days. And as I'm trying to escape and stuff like that, like, in the video, like, I'm, like, trying to get up and just spew everywhere. And I'm talking about like,
Holy
and this
crap,
looks like
dude.
if you ever played Halo, it looks like the Elite's blood going against the wall
That's
of like
so
purple. And like, and as I'm going, like everyone in the crowd, like they pan to me for some reason, the Jumbotron, and then like everyone in the crowd, they're like applauding me, and like I raise up my fists and go, "Let's go!" And like everyone just starts applauding me, like, "Let him stay."
Yeah, let him stay.
And I'm like,
Let him
I
stay.
got
This
it.
is what it's about.
So as
That's the
appropriately
spirit.
named as the video is called, it was called "Drunken Underage at Shea Stadium."
I'm gonna look it up when I
If you
get
look
home.
it up,
on
it's
YouTube?
it's on YouTube. It was not my glorious moment because
Hey,
I was away.
how many views? Are you famous?
It might be like a couple of thousand now or something
Ooh,
like that.
famous
but
boy
I was
over
Drunk
there.
and
Oh, you're
underage
famous.
at Shea.
Dude,
yeah,
how
I mean,
much
I
are
was
you?
I was at Vanderbilt doing biomedical engineering at the time, so I didn't know when the video was coming out. And someone posted to my Facebook that was like my next door neighbor's cousin, and he's like, "Is this you?" And I was like, "Oh."
Yeah,
No,
And I was like,
no.
at first, I was like,
That's on
the
the
shame.
internet.
That's the shame going to boil over. But no, it was like, you know what? That's me and the Mets, and it was so fitting, you know, because Johan's greatest game. But it was more of like that I knew I was going to get sick with the next game when we, you know, had the worst collapse in all of baseball history.
Terrible,
I think
terrible.
I found
That's
it.
it. That's it.
That's
See,
great.
it's the first video out there, so that's when you know
Make
that
sure you
it's
don't get the
legit.
sound.
Yeah,
Make
can you
sure
send-
don't have
No,
sound.
it's
But if
off.
you view it, make sure you
Yep,
don't
that'd
have
be me.
sound.
Now the sound makes the whole video because you get to hear the crowd rise up as I like because everyone thought this kid was gonna be dying, but you know what?
You gotta send that-
rally.
you
You
gotta
gotta
send that to
rally.
me.
Did he look good? Did you look good? Oh my gosh, Doug.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I don't know
Dude.
how many, like 8 years ago we're working on now? Maybe
Doug.
9?
Doug, this is legendary. I'm sorry. You
Yeah,
know
it's
what?
9 years
I'm
ago.
sorry, Joe. Your dad, he
Yeah,
got
that's-
kicked off the boat.
I was like,
Oh.
oh, yeah,
Oh,
no,
no.
you see like projectile. What I'm talking about a fountain, just like, not even a fountain, like a pressurized hose of a fountain coming out.
This
And it
is,
was
this
just,
is what the Mets do to their fans.
this is
you
what
know?
they did, but I needed to get it out of my system. That's what the Mets did. They purged for about 5 years, throwing up all over the fan base, and then finally, our draft picks start coming together. And besides that, yeah, I got kicked out another time.
You want to tell it?
No, the other time was more of just like getting rowdy and just like I think someone like tried to punch one of my friends or something like that and jumped over. And I always try to break up fights. I never
not
get into
cool.
fights. I'm always the one guy who's like, I'm a Buddhist at heart, okay? And next thing I know, it's just that they're like, oh, I'll be out here. And I'm like, no, I can't miss my Mets.
Oh my
But
God.
I don't know. But
Wow.
right, the video itself, like when you see it in its entirety,
Hey,
I
you gotta see
can't
this.
imagine. I can't imagine getting kicked out. You know, you ever
Same.
watch? I remember though. I'm never gonna forget middle school. A lot of memories of middle school, man. But I remember in middle school, like they would get the paper, and I remember, and I already heard about this, but I remember seeing in the paper. You remember this guy ran in the Phillies game? This guy like
Yeah, he got
ran out on the
tasered.
field and he got tasered.
Oh, yeah.
It's on YouTube.
that's hilarious. Actually, that instead of the standard tackle, that they're just like, you know what, screw it.
He got freaking tasered.
Like, dude,
yeah, man. He got tasered. I
And then
remember
Raul
seeing-
Ibanez was like right behind him. He saw the guy pull out the gun. Raul ran for his
Yeah,
life.
oh,
He
really?
was like, yeah.
Yeah,
he
he
saw,
had to
he
pull
saw
out
the
his
he saw the
gun.
police
Really?
officer pull out the
Yeah,
gun.
but he
And
thought they were
Raul was
coming
like,
for him.
oh my god, he ran. He got the hell out of
It was
there.
actually really.
That's what you. Hey, Philly fans, man, you got to
Yeah,
do what you got to
you
do.
know, Phillies fans, you always got to be on your guard, man. You
But-
always.
Oh,
They might have some
seriously.
batteries in their pocket.
I think I was at not to be rude, but I think I was at a better Johan game. I was at the no-hitter.
Oh, you
in
son of
2012.
Really?
That's by far
That
my
is
favorite memory.
You were at that game?
I was at that game.
That is
And
revolutionary. If I
wild
saw
was
that,
it?
I would be crying.
it was one of those things where where you're just like hugging random people. You're
Yeah.
like, who the hell are you? But you're just hugging them.
Yeah.
And it's like,
You're Met fans. It brings
right.
you together.
It just
It's a family.
it felt like we won a championship.
That was
That's
like
really what it
that
felt
was the
like.
final game
Now,
of
speaking
2015.
about
It was
that,
beautiful.
and of course this is famous on YouTube. I don't know if you know, dude. When Johan Santana got
The guy running on the
the
field.
guy ran on the field
Yeah,
with a Mets jersey.
dude. I remember.
Wait,
Okay.
really?
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
partied with the guy.
Yeah. So what?
That's amazing.
I remember
You
that.
gotta
What
see
happened
it.
was
Wait,
I
was
was
that me? No.
I was like talking to the guy to the left of me the whole game. So when he finally threw the no hitter, I just hugged the guy and we were jumping up and down. And then I look to my right and I see like I was sitting in left field.
Yeah.
I look to my right. I look on the field. I see Johan getting mobbed, and then to the right, I see like 6 security guards
Yeah.
on top of someone. I'm
You
like,
gotta
what?
see the video.
I'm like, what the
dude.
hell's going on? Yeah, the guy just
You
ran
wouldn't
around the
notice it at
field.
first because he looks like he's a Mets player because
Yeah.
he has the jersey.
Oh.
and
He's
you don't see
actually
his pants.
he's actually from my
Wait, he
town.
actually had, wait, really? And
He's
he
from
had pants on too, like he was in
No,
full
no,
uniform?
yeah,
or
No, he was wearing like
No, he
jean
had
shorts.
jeans, but you couldn't see it in the camera, so you just
Oh.
thought he was another player.
Yeah.
But he actually.
Kirk Neuenhuis was hugging him
Yeah, yeah,
because he thought he was like a player.
That's amazing.
It's,
That's
you gotta see
amazing.
it on YouTube. It's legendary, dude. It's
It was
legendary.
great.
And
That
it's
guy,
funny-
he's banned from
He's
City
banned
Field.
for life. Now,
Really?
no,
Yeah, he's
what
gone.
I was
happened-
banned from Shea,
No,
but
here's the thing.
City Field. Not
Here's
so
You
the
much.
thing.
chose the right
Yeah,
time to
everyone
get
chose
banned.
No, no, but here's the
Perfect
thing. What happens if you're banned? Like, do they actually have
I
your
don't
picture?
know.
Do they have
I don't
your
know how
picture
that
and they
works.
go, well, you're banned?
Trust me, it's
just-
crossed my mind many times, but here I am.
Seriously,
Like,
how did-
but I'm like, now I'm putting it on radio now. I'm like, oh god.
How do they find out? Your debit card?
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's a debit card, but they don't attach the name to it. I mean, they did
Pay
try to
with
write
your
you up.
dad
Wait
or
a
your
minute.
girlfriend or something.
Or just buy a gift card at CVS and pay with that. You get-
There's no way they can keep you
Yeah,
out.
there's no way they can keep
can't
track
you
of that.
out.
No way.
Are they going to have a giant picture?
And they don't have
keep out these people like
Exactly.
you
You
see in the
can't.
cartoons?
I mean, we don't even have
Probably.
security that can like match the face with like the camera and be like, you know what? There's our guy. Mark him. Get him.
Yeah,
take
you
him
know
down.
what? Let's
It's like,
make sure ISIS doesn't get into the
Yeah,
ballpark.
yeah,
all
yeah,
right?
right.
It's not
Yeah,
like
let's-
some drunken
make
guy.
I think we
all
have bigger
right?
concerns now that you mentioned it.
Well, no, I mean, like, look, like, I mean, I know that Blue Jays guy. I remember in the
Oh, the guy who
playoffs,
threw the beer can.
You know, he was on
Oh,
the
yeah.
run. He was on the run.
What do you mean?
He was
Like
on the
from
ru-
like
from
like
the
from
police.
a crime.
He was on the
Oh my
run.
god.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate. I mean, in Canada, dude.
he
Like,
was
that'd be
fired.
Sorry, eh?
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry,
He
eh?
was fired
Makes-
from
makes
his
us
job.
try,
and
Yeah,
he
I was
was
like,
on the run. That's
cross my
hilarious.
English people.
You're on the run for what? Throwing a beer can
Yeah,
at one of the
that's-
players. What was his name? Jung.
It was
It was one of the Korean guys.
Yeah.
That, Orioles.
I know who you're talking
Get
about.
His name.
Young Kim.
Yeah,
But,
something like that.
Yeah,
Something
yeah,
like that.
that's there's a line. You can't do that. You can't throw a beer bottle at the guy.
Never.
I remember I was actually at opening day for the Mets in 2015, where the right fielder for the Phillies, I forgot who it was, went, and you know how in right field at City Field they had the little cage. I think it's the Mo Zone or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Or the
yeah.
No,
Honda
it used
Club.
to be the
where you
Mo
could,
Zone.
where you could sit in. It's like below,
Yeah,
like
and
right
there's
field.
yeah,
I
exactly.
wanna sit there.
One guy
It's
took
really
a
nice.
one guy took a beer bottle, like he took beer and just chucked it right at the guy. He got beer all over the guy's.
That's
it was
hilarious.
Yo,
crazy.
I gotta. You know what? This thing is, I'm not 21, but I gotta go and be 21 and just get kicked out. I mean, I think
It's a lot of fun. Not gonna lie, getting really rowdy and drinking at a Mets game.
No,
There
but
is,
the
like,
Mets.
little
No, I'll
pleasures
only
in
do
life.
it if it's like it's 11-0 and the Mets are losing. Then I'll do it. Then I'll get kicked out.
I was at Madison
right.
Square Garden
Keep that
last night
promise.
watching St. John's and Xavier.
Oh, nice.
It was a good game actually, but this guy threw it was one of I was telling Ace before he threw one of the inflatable basketballs
Oh,
like the
yeah,
size of your
yeah,
hand.
yeah.
This guy threw it from like the last row of the
That's hilarious.
onto the, I'm like we got to sign this guy
Yeah,
for the Mets
right,
bullpen.
it's just like the Sandy
So-
it's like signed.
Yeah,
signed.
he threw it
That was
on-
10 million cent.
He threw it onto the court, Guy was like,
By the way-
"Look, I had a couple Stellas, all right." you know?
Yo, I need some Stellas right now. But anyway, listen. Also, what about? Did you guys see that Instagram video of Matt Harvey throwing? Also,
Yeah,
yeah,
he looks
it's
good.
Pretty cool. He looks good. He looks good. And
We'll
see.
we'll
if,
see.
We'll see if the pitches.
I'm
can
more
stay
interested in
healthy.
seeing the ghost of Zach Wheeler, seeing what we got
Dude,
out of him.
what
you know?
is up
I mean,
with
do-
him? Because Joe told me he's going to start in the bullpen.
He's
Is
starting
that
the
what
bullpen.
it is?
I like that idea. I mean, I really am not.
And then
that
you're going to have
against it.
Lugo in the fifth.
I think it would be unethical to start him in the rotation. The guy hasn't pitched in 2
Yeah.
years. You gotta.
I mean, spring training, you
ease
can
him
see how
into
he go,
it.
but even then, how far is he going to go? 4 or 5 innings? And then that's just going to put a tax upon our whole entire bullpen, which we saw last year.
So we'll see exactly what happens. We'll see if he could.
Well,
Listen,
he can move up a couple ticks and be like throwing 101, and he could be one of those dominant forces that you always hear about. And maybe we can sign a Travis Wood. I've been clamoring for this guy as a
who
lefty
kno-
specialist,
Who
Travis
knows?
Wood.
Maybe Zach Wheeler, finds his spot in the.
Maybe
Maybe he's a
he's the
good
closer.
bullpen guy.
Maybe
That's
he's
Who
what
knows?
I'm saying. I think he
You
could be a
never
dominant
know.
force back
You
there.
never know.
maybe he's the closer.
Who knows?
Seriously, because Who's the closer?
Zach Wheeler does
I
sound
know
like a
that.
good
I know
closer.
that everyone's going to say Addison Reed, and you guys, but some people say he's not going to be closer type. If you move him there, it'll be different. I don't know if that will be different, and we don't know. Is the Familia ban out? I never heard if that
They haven't
thing is
ruled
out.
anything.
They haven't
yet.
ruled anything,
Because,
but the speculation's 30 games.
30 games.
A month.
30 games
So
minimum.
a month without the closer, who is not a very good closer.
Yeah.
Sorry to say, guys.
Oh, every game
I
he was
think
the
he's
guy
was
on second.
better
We talked
as-
about this last year. That was
he
a
was-
tightrope. Where
He
by
never
side
had a
he would
1,
be
2,
through
3
the
inning.
roof.
Never.
I was just
He
like,
was better as a setup man. I remember in 2014, what a terrible year. But remember, people were talking about that guy's going to be the future closer. That guy's going to be the future closer. And he would be. And he had he closes good games, don't get me wrong. He gets the job done. But, boy, does he get bailed out.
You know,
like every game.
that's why I'm so high on this guy Romo, because he's gotten outs in the postseason.
Yeah.
That's why Yankee fans appreciate Mariano Rivera so much. The guy was lights out in the postseason. It's hard to come across.
well, Romo's good, but underneath the hood, if you look at his velocity decreased by more than 1.5 miles per hour
By
last
the
year.
way,
He's got a filthy
But
slider.
he's got his slider. Is
at least he's not
Yeah.
$80 million like Chapman. Okay?
Yeah.
That's
That's
real.
ridiculous.
That's what
dude.
you gotta be looking at.
That's
I mean, besides
so
that, other names
ridiculous.
we've got. I mean, if we
I
need
could get someone.
lefty-
I could get someone from the Dominican Republic right now for $1 million who could throw 100.
You're
I'm
right.
sorry. I'm
You
sorry.
can go to India and find a cricket player that can throw 100
seriously,
miles per hour.
I'll go get screw it. You know what? I'll just take some players out of the Long Island Ducks and put them on the front.
Well,
Call
team,
up Justin
all right?
Dunn.
Yeah, right. I mean, well, with relievers that we've got so far, we've got Joe Bland still out there. You've got Luke Hochevar, who, remember, on the Royals,
What
was the
about
starter.
Jerry Blevins?
Well, I mean, if we're looking at lefties specifically, we've got
They might
Blevins,
re-sign
Chris
him.
Capuano. We can get as a
gotta
little
pull
reunion,
up-
but I'm not too excited about that.
I
Boone
gotta
Logan
pull up
did
the
pretty
story
well.
with Blevins because something came out today that the Mets are like, we could sign him for 2 years.
No, you can because no one's willing to go
So-
past 1 year with him because the
so-
market's been drying up, and it's very nice.
It's sort
I mean,
of
for the
surprising
Mets.
because he had a good year. No,
He had a very good year.
So I don't understand. I guess people are stupid. Just like with
He
Cespedes.
might be the top lefty left on the market right now, but I really like Travis Wood. I don't know what it is about the guy.
Is
I
he
mean, he
cheap?
hit 9 home
Is he
runs.
cheap?
Cheap? Oh yeah, I think he could be had very
He
cheaply.
played- was he with the Cubs?
Yeah, he was with the Cubs.
Yeah, I
Before
think I
that, he
remember.
was with I think the Cincinnati Reds, where he was strictly.
Hang on, I gotta.
Yeah, he was strictly a starter, but he was as a starter he threw to a 3.9 ERA, I think, somewhere around there. And last year he had pitched to a 2.73 ERA.
All right, here we go. This past weekend, sources told Fox Sports, Ken Rosenthal, that the free agent left-handed pitcher Jerry Blevins will eventually sign a deal worth at least 2 years. So that doesn't really say anything about the Mets specifically. But
the Mets
but the Mets are
think
now
they're
saying
willing.
that,
Yeah.
we could do 2 years. We could do it. And by the way, I remember, this is sort of like
If
off
they could
topic.
sign him, that'd be
That would
huge.
be huge because, again, even though we have the pitching staff and stuff, bullpen is still, I would say now, with the hitting now getting more intact, the pitching is healthy, quotes on that, healthy. But the bullpen is now the weakest part of the Mets game. It's the bullpen. And
Which it's like not even that as we discussed before, it's not that weak. If we can get these starters to be healthy, then they can stretch out into games further where they pitch 7 innings on average instead. Our
Because
guys
here's the
last year
thing.
could only
Here's
do
the
5
thing,
innings,
though.
and then it just doesn't tax us as
here's
much. It
what
doesn't
here's
reveal
what
the flaws.
people underestimate about the bullpen, including myself, is that in the playoffs, bullpen comes in helpful. I mean, in the season, you get a guy to stretch out. But in the playoffs, dude, I mean, seriously,
Past
some
3
of these
years.
guys, look at Chapman. He pitched so much. He's bullpen.
Andrew Miller.
I mean, these
Cody
guys
Allen, man, come
are
on.
bullpen is huge in the playoffs. And the Mets want to go to win the World Series. Bullpen's a big piece. I'm not saying it's impossible without it, but I wouldn't mind seeing some improvements for sure. Because seriously, it's concerning considering we didn't add. I don't think we've added a reliever. I don't think we've added a reliever. We've lost Familia. We've lost
only
Blevins.
on minor league deals. Yeah, I don't think there's no sign. We didn't sign anyone. No one to a major league contract.
So, this is a hole. And, of course, I think Addison Reed will probably do fine for a month. Maybe he'll stay as the closer.
And you've got Hansel.
You got Hansel.
Maybe Sean Gilmartin. I'm not sure.
How about Josh Smoker?
Josh Smoker.
The Smoke
I like
Man.
him.
I
I like
Smoke
him.
Man.
You want to know why I like him? Because he's a former national pick.
He's a former number 1 pick too.
Yeah,
so,
and
it's
then
like
he
one of the
was, and
starters
then he
that
was
could fizzle out.
exiled to the Long Island Duck. No, to one of those independent. I don't know if
No,
he's
he
a Long
Actually, it
Island
might have
Duck.
been the Ducks.
He climbed the
But he's
ladder.
back.
He started from the
back.
bottom. Well, he didn't start from the bottom, but he had some setbacks. For sure.
A lot of setbacks.
Once you
So-
go, I'm sorry. I love that name, Long Island Ducks. Someone's got to make them an official affiliate because that's hilarious.
No, I
It's
agree.
amazing.
The Long Island Ducks.
Hey, it's
Make
good.
them
I
like
play
the-
for the Ducks.
Make them like the Mets rookie
I
team.
play
or
for
something.
the
I
frickin'
Yeah, that'd
Ducks.
be great. It's a single A team, you know.
Well,
Well, that's the
thing. They need a
Cyclones.
AAA team.
Oh, the Cyclones for
They need a AAA
for the
team.
eggs, right?
Yeah.
They own that, right? The Mets actually own the Cyclones, I think. No, maybe.
Well, the
they don't.
Cyclones is the Mets single A affiliate.
No, but I'm saying no. You know who they own? They own the St. Lucie one.
Yeah, Port
They
St.
actually
Lucie.
own them, meaning that they pay for their expenses.
Oh.
So that's why
okay.
That's why they threw down what's his name, Tim Tebow down there.
Speaking about
Right.
Tim Tebow,
What's
he's
going
not
on with
making
him?
it. He's not making spring training.
He didn't get
Breaking.
invited?
No, he did not get invited. I heard that he didn't get invited.
The guy's not going to be a major
Come
leaguer.
on, man.
Yeah, he's not gonna
Are
be
you
major
are you
leaguer, though.
telling me he's not gonna? You're telling me this wasn't strictly a baseball move? Is that what you're
No,
telling me?
it
Wink,
wasn't
wink.
a baseball move. It was a PCL move.
No, but I know.
or,
But according to Sandy Olson, this was strictly a baseball move.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it
Yeah,
wasn't.
no. This was Tim Tebow on the Mets. Imagine he gets called up. You know what?
That'd be
he could
sick.
be a reliever.
You know what's funny? We have a better quarterback situation than the Jets.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
apparently. I mean, he's on, and
Yeah, we have more playoff
You know what's
caliber
funny?
quarterback.
We do.
It's funny because actually Doug was talking to me about that. I believe it was Doug was talking to me about it. Maybe it was you was talking to me about it. That Tim Tebow should have just never retired from football.
Oh yeah, no,
No,
he
I
should
agree.
never have. I mean, the
I don't
amount, the
know
amount
much
of holes
about
that they had
football,
this
to be
season.
honest.
He's a Heisman Trophy winner.
He
Why
won a
not?
playoff game with the Broncos.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that switching to baseball is a bad move. It's just he just went to ESPN after that. He shouldn't have not went to. If he really wanted to be a baseball player, he should have switched before it was too late when he was a lot
He
younger.
could hold a clipboard for $5 million.
Well,
I'm
I mean,
sure.
he made it clear that like he wanted to pursue baseball. Like he
Yeah.
might not be good at it, but it's something that he really wanted to try.
Is that his thing?
Which is cool. Yeah,
Which I
like,
I appreciate his.
No, I
You know, he
appreciate that
saved
too.
someone's.
You know,
he
it's not a
saved someone
publicity
from
stunt.
From a seizure.
Yeah, he
the
did
first
it.
Spring
Yeah.
training
Yeah.
game, one
Yeah.
of the first games he played, someone was having a seizure in the stands.
The
He
hands
touches
of
his
the Lord
forehead. He literally
invade
touches his
Tebow.
forehead, and the guy stops having a seizure.
Yeah,
Okay,
I know. it was
Illuminati
insane.
confirmed.
Tim,
Okay,
Tim Tebow is God. Enough
Yeah,
said.
literally,
he is the second coming of
Tim
Jesus
Tebow
right
will
now.
lead us to a
Yeah,
championship.
he'll lead us to the promised
He
land. That's
will
why
lead
Sandy
us
needs to
there.
bring him up just to get those extra karma points with the man upstairs. You know.
yeah, well, let's see, because again, that actually helped get Cespedes back because of the that Tebow's agent was Cespedes' agent, and I still think that played a role. I still think it played a role in bringing him back. But we got 8 seconds. This was an amazing show. I'm so glad to have our guests on.
Thank
And
you.
Good panel.
Great show, and we hope to see you, or maybe not see you, but listen to your ear, listening to us next week on the show, and hopefully a lot more happens. So we will see you next week, guys.
Looking for some informal stress relief and a relaxing way to get to know your neighbors? Try adult coloring. It's like coloring for kids, but harder to stay in the lines. It's on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. in the Port Washington Public Library. For more info, call 516-883-4400 or visit pwpl.org. The community calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
You can promote your club or event on air. Email us at info@wcwp.org.
This is WCWP, Brookville, New York. Your home for LIU Post Pioneer Sports. 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.